And of course, this fight, it is in Ireland. Have you done much international travel in your life? I know your mother's from Korea. I don't know if you've ever gone out there.
I haven't gone out there, but I've traveled a bit. I've been to Italy. I've been to Hungary. I've actually been to Dublin before. I went earlier this year to watch my friend fight, Yaroslav Amosov, and then I went to Paris and I watched Fabian and Musasi fight, and I think that's it for Europe. Yeah, that's about it.
How do you feel about fighting internationally for the first time?
I'm excited, man. It's gonna be fun. I really like the Dublin crowd. I got to kind of get a feel for it the last time I was there, and I really enjoyed it. I love the energy, and I'm just really excited to blow the top off that arena, man.
Sure. And September, it basically is middleweight championship month. Of course, your fight, Fabian Edwards coming up. We just had Sean Strickland with that big upset against Rizzo Adesanya, the UFC belt. You trained with Sean a bunch of times now, right? What's your history? You guys kind of go back a little bit, right?
Yeah, he helped me train for the Musasi fight. I went out to Vegas. He hit me up. We started training a bit. And yeah, we became training partners and friends. And every time I'm out in Vegas, I make sure to get rounds with him and make sure to train with him. And anytime he's in Florida, he usually, comes by ATT. Yeah, man, just a great training partner, a good look, and always get great rounds with the guy.
How does it feel to kind of watch somebody that obviously you've trained with, that you are friends with, get to the top of the mountain too?
Dude, I'm so happy for him. Very, very, very. Like, it's hard to put into words, but like, I'm proud of him and I'm like happy for him. And the whole fight, I was just like rooting him on and excited, man. I was on the edge of my seat, especially after he dropped him. I thought he was going to finish him, and that would have been crazy. But after, Adesanya got back up, I was like, oh, I, see if he could finish him in like the second, third, or fourth, or fifth. And if not, hopefully he does enough to where Izzy's not just winning a point, kickboxing point battle, because that's usually how he does win a lot of decisions. And Sean made sure and put it on him. And I think a lot of it had to do with Eric Molina's coaching. He was making sure, like, hey, man, we're not here to lose a boring decision. We're here to win a title. And, Sean showed up that night, and he won that fight.
You mentioned Eric, his coach, and he actually replied to like a poll I'd put up the other day. It was like right after his fight. It was about the two of you, but he said those two are some of the most incredible rounds. I can truly say that Sean helped Eblen become a world champion, prepping him for Musasi, and Eblen flew out to help us for Izzy. Both are real ones. How does it been kind of working with them in Las Vegas, and every time you make the trip out there? What does it do for you?
Dude, it's awesome. It's a whole different vibe out there. It's a different team, different sparring partners, different training partners. I get different looks from coaches. I mainly talk to Eric most of the time when I'm out there, and I work with him a little bit, pick his brain. He gives me some insights on things I could get better at. He has things that he utilizes, and the way he game plans for certain fights. It's different from the coaches that I'm usually working with. So it's always nice to get a different set of eyes to look at the same problem. And yeah, man, I just like going in and helping elevate that room and being a part of a different vibe. Like, it's not the same vibe as ATT, and it can get I can get kind of complacent there, and I get used to it. So I like to change it up and go into different gyms, especially like Extreme Couture. It's like my second home from home. So pretty awesome. And, I definitely elevate my game by going out there.
Sure. And I think I'd be underselling it to say that Sean is a character. What is he like outside the gym when there's no media around, you guys are just hanging out?
Most of the time I'm just with him around the gym. But yeah, in the gym, when there's no media around, he's the same guy, man. Like, he's just himself. He's very authentic. And that's one thing I really like about some people, is they don't become some type of character because there's a camera in front of them. They're the same authentic person as if a camera was on them or off of them. And I definitely think Sean's one of those guys. And yeah, man, I like to surround myself with people like that.
Focusing more on you now, you course, defending your belt the previous time in February against Anatoly Tokov, dominated him. Scores were 50-45 and 249-46s, but you actually won the majority round winner in every round. So you still have never lost a round in mixed martial arts, and you're unbeaten. How much is it an emphasis for you to kind of give no quarter in every round?
It's just the way I fight, man. I'm very competitive. I have a high fight IQ, so I feel like I'm gonna win every second of every minute of every round. That's my mentality going in, you know. So really, just that's just how I fight. That's just how I think. I like to dominate. I like to go in and utilize every skill set that I have to win the fight. And like I said, I'm a competitor, but it comes down to every second of every minute, you know, of every round when I fight.
Now you did. Tokov did manage to damage your eye with that jab, and the second he looked like he might have gotten you in a little bit of trouble, but you answered really quick with that big elbow. That's been about as much adversity as we've I think seen from you in your career. Was that the most challenging fight you've been through?
Yeah, I would say so. He was the toughest test that I've come across. He had really good timing, a great jab. It just took me a little bit to get in my groove and get my distance on that fight. And once I started touching him and once I dropped him, then that's when I started like getting in my real groove. And I was like, okay, I got this mother now. It just took me some time, and I mean, sometimes fights play out like that.
Of course, and looking ahead now to this fight, and I know you're excited for to blow the roof off over in Dublin, but Edwards, he's not too far away. He's from Birmingham, England. I imagine he probably will get some support flying over there. You seem like someone who could kind of care less about being maybe the bad guy or something like that, or do you actually like the idea of maybe playing spoiler for those fans?
Of course, yeah. This says I'm not like some type of heel or some type of baby face or whatever. I really don't care. I don't really play into the antics of like being the good guy or bad guy too much. I just really enjoy fighting, and if there's people booing me, whatever. If people are cheering for me, great. Um, if anything, at the end of the day, they're gonna respect the way I fight. They're gonna respect that I'm one of the best in the world, and that's kind of my the path I'm gonna take. If you know what I'm saying.
Sure, I think I understand that, but you know, Edwards, he's coming off a win over Musasi, of course. That's the man you beat to become the champion. Now, MMA math doesn't really work, but how much is it a help it to you to watch somebody fight a common opponent like that over the course of 5 rounds?
I think it's like a similar problem, and you see how they approach it, and you kind of can get some little details on like the way they like to fight and the way they like to game plan for certain things. And yeah, I guess there's like some things I can pick apart about it, and it is cool to be able to see someone fight the same opponent, to where you can kind of get a deeper dive into like the way they want to fight when it comes to facing somebody.
Sure, sure. What impresses you, or maybe doesn't impress you, about Edwards as an opponent?
I mean, he's athletic, moves well, good kickboxer, fast. I've heard like he's fought one of my teammates. Heard he's pretty strong individual. But the thing that doesn't impress me is he doesn't really want to be in the fire. Like he wants things to be a lot cleaner. He wants it to be more technical. He wants to be able to take his time and to set things up. And yeah, man, that's just not the way I fight. I'm going to put the pressure on you, and I'm going to make you uncomfortable, and I'm going to make you be in the fire, and I'm going to break you. And that's just how I fight. That's just my mentality when it comes to fighting, because I'm in there to take your will, take you out to sea. We're going to both swim out to sea, and we're going to see you can swim back, and you're going to drown, and I'm not going to drown, because it's the way I train. It's the way I think. I'm gonna beat you no matter what. So I think I'm just gonna drown him, man. I'm gonna take him out to sea, drown him, and I'm gonna swim back to shore.
You've been still ever since you hit this upper level of middleweight, we kind of championship picture and everything. We've seen you again, still dominant, but we haven't seen that finish that we kind of saw from you when you were on the come up. How important is it for you to, maybe get that elusive finish at the championship level, either here or in the future?
It'd be nice. It's cool to be able to, finish high level opponents on a big stage, for a belt, um, or to defend my belt. That's obviously, the next step, but I'm not too focused on it. I'm more focused on just dominating. And if a finish comes, a finish comes. If I see an opportunity to get a finish, I'm going to take it. That's one thing that I'm learning as I go, is like to take opportunities when I see them presented during fights. And it's just something that you'll learn as you go. I'm not necessarily like putting any pressure on myself to try to get a finish. The less pressure I put on myself to get a finish, the more likely I get one. I remember my first knockout against what's his name? I forget his name. I think it was in 2021, where I like gorilla beat his head. I think his name was Daniel Madrid, actually. I wasn't even focused on like, I need to finish this guy. I need to finish. I wasn't even thinking about that. I was just going out there, executing techniques, executing certain game plans, and seeing what the opponent gave me, and boom, a finish happened. So that's just how I fight. I'm not really looking for any particular thing. I'm letting things play out, and I'm picking things up as I go. And if I get a finish, I get a finish. If I don't, I don't. But I will win every minute of every round.
Sure. Now, the winner, if you get a win here, that would give you victories over each of the top three Bellator middleweight ranking contenders here. So you're the champion, not really looking at everybody to go to them. They're coming to you. But is there anyone you have your eye on next, maybe over the next year or so at middleweight, maybe Aaron Jeffrey?
Yeah, that'd be the only guy that would make sense. Yeah, you got to win over my buddy Dalton, a teammate of mine. So, yeah, I mean, that would only be the other matchup in the middleweight division that would make any sense. So I guess that would be the guy after I take out Fabian. I'm fully focused on him right now. I'm not really thinking much about anybody else. But once I get past this, I'm sure his name will come up a lot.
And again, you're not focused on anybody else at this point. I know you're looking at Fabian, but some people start to wonder once you start beating all the top guys at a certain weight class, like, well, there's another weight class above you. Have you ever given any thought to moving up to 205? Vadim Nemkov said he's going to move up to heavyweight, maybe give up that belt. Does that interest you at all?
Yeah, of course. I want to fight often, and sometimes, things don't add up for Bellator to put on certain types of shows. So, a big thing that they could sell is, me becoming a double champ. So definitely a possibility, definitely a thing that I've thought about. Obviously it's not my focus right now, and it's kind of just, in the back of my head, and it's like, okay, that's a possibility in the future. I can't think too far ahead. We're not there yet. I like to think moment to moment. And right now the moment is defending my world championship September 23rd.
And what's your prediction for the fight?
I'm gonna beat the out of him, man. I'm gonna up. I'm gonna break him. That's my prediction.